Alright, so today in the garage, we're talking about the MX14 versus the AT82 revisited, part 2, because about a year ago I did a video very similar to this on my channel, talking about these two tires. The difference now is I run a little bit of a different setup of a bike, obviously, we've talked about that, and I've run a Nitro Moose now instead of a tube. So we'll talk about that, talk about the differences, the way they feel, that type of thing. I do want to mention I always do run an AT82 front. That's always consistent. I just flip-flop between these two tires. Gone through probably about maybe 3 of these AT82 rears and about 3 of these MX14s, maybe 2 of these. These I wasn't running as much, but we'll get into that now with the way I feel on the bike now. And I'll bust out the pit board here, give a couple notes, give a couple sizes of these tires, and we'll go for it. So let me get that out, and we'll continue the video. All right, here is the sizes. MX14 is a 110, 100, 18. The AT82 is a 120, 90, 18. So both 18-inch rear tires. I race mostly off-road, so that works a little bit better for us off-road guys. MX14 does not come in a 120. It only comes in a 100 and a 110 width. So the first number is width, height, and rim size. So if I bring that a little closer, it's rim, height, width, tire size. The AT82 does come in a 100, 110, and a 120. For bigger bikes, they do recommend to not run any size bigger than a 110 for like a 250, 300, 450 bigger bikes. They say to run a 120. Personally, I don't think it really matters that much anyway. I don't think it has that much of an effect on the drivetrain or the transmission or anything like that. Both with a 305 Nitro Moose. That's the size of the Nitro Moose, and this is what is recommended by Nitro Moose and New Tech. I'll get to that in a little bit, and that might be some of my issue with the setup that I'm running right now with this AT82. I've been running this MX14 almost exclusively since I went to Loretta's. So I rode with the 82 at Loretta's, and I've just been running this. I've been running this 14 since we got back outdoors. I've been running this tire. I feel like this is the best tire for me. It has the most comfort. It has the most traction. I can get hard on the gas, and honestly, the only downside is braking, but we'll get to that. The AT82 here, I rode it indoors. I ran it at Loretta's, and that track is very rocky, so I wouldn't have done this. And honestly, I'll bring you closer here to take a look at this 82, but it's trashed because of Loretta's. I just haven't gotten around to buying a new one. So, my point here is the downside to running a Nitro Moose and even going with the recommended size is they're both running a 305, but this one has so much more comfort in it because of the height of the tire, and it allows the tire to flex more when it's on the ground. So if I push on this, it's got a lot more flex than if I were to push on this tire. The sidewall just isn't as tall, and you can see that here. There's very little sidewall compared to how much sidewall this has. You might get a little extra roll out of this tire, you go into a corner and it kind of folds over a little bit. But for the woods, honestly, I like this feeling better. It's just got more comfort, more traction, especially you wouldn't think it, but in the hard packed. Obviously this tire is meant to be an all-terrain tire, AT, all-terrain. This tire with a Nitro Moose, it doesn't have as much traction in the hard packed. Because it's so stiff, there's no give in that Nitro Moose. So maybe that's Nitro Moose has to change their recommended size. Or maybe it's me, I have to drill it, which is basically just drilling holes through the nitro mousse to make it a little bit more plush, have it move a little bit more. But honestly, I feel like I prefer this tire. I do. Cornering, traction, acceleration. The only part where the AT82, even in this configuration with the nitro mousse, is better is braking. It doesn't slide like at all. Say if you're coming on a grass hill or something, you're coming into a corner, just a grass straightaway or whatever, and you want to get hard on the brakes, you'd find yourself getting you would lock up really easy with this MX14, and you would slide a lot. But with the 82, you can get hard on the brakes, and the tire won't lock up and slide as much. You can really feel the best way to describe it is when you get on the brakes, you can feel the grit of the tire. You can feel it grabbing. Is the best way to describe the 82 under braking. Now I have used the 82 without a tube or without a mousse and with a tube, and I do like that feeling too. But when I race off-road and I'm not going to switch nitro mousses in and out, you have to buy the extra tire loop for that, just because of the heat and changing, and you're gonna lose the slipperiness of the nitro mousse over time if you take it in and out. I'm just gonna stay running these nitro mousses, so I need a tire that can do it all. And even in the rock gardens and the logs, this tire just is all around a good tire. The only thing I would say is in the rocks, if you're stopped in the rocks and you are not moving, that is where this tire has its downsides. But even with the 82 with the mousse, you're not going anywhere because it has no give. So honestly, for me, and you know what, I will say this too. When I switched to the mousse, I switched to an 82, not this 82, a different 82 with the mousse, and I raced, my first race on it was Ironman, and I went down about 15 times because my back end slid out. So if that's any correlation, like that right there, going back to that. What I was going to say was, so I'm going to run this tire right here, MX14. I'm going to run it all the time with this mousse in this configuration. I think it's the best tire for me right now. When we go to a track that has a little bit more technical rocks, I could think of technical rocks or high speed, really hard packed. This tire might not be the way to go. I'm thinking if I race Ironman again, I don't believe I'd be on this tire, or if I race or when I race in Republic this year. I want to be on a different tire. And that tire isn't an 82, and that's not obviously this 14. I'm thinking EN91, and not the EX, just the regular one. Because the tire is durable, it has a wide footprint, it comes in a 140 width. It's a little bit shallower, but the way they get their traction is by the flex of the tire widening out. So it is a 140. It's a little narrow for a 140, but the tire flexes, it gets that traction, and that's what I feel out of this, is when this tire pushes down and it flattens out, you get more traction, and that's why it's better in the hard packed. So, and that's why it's better, that's why an EN91 would be better in the rocks, especially with the material of that tire is even more, is softer as well. And then also the flex of these knobs here. So I can move these knobs pretty easily with my hand. These 82 knobs are much stiffer, and that has to do with the mousse in there as well. But these knobs move. That's going to be a big help for off-road racing, traction, that type of thing. The same thing with the EN91 that I would like to go to is a really good tire, and the knobs flex And then you could go to the AT91 EX, which is an extreme tire, which the hard enduro guys run, which might be even a better tire. But for me, I want the tire to last, not be going through tires, you know, every ride. So what I would say is, I'm going to run this tire. If it's loamy, if it's a little bit hard packed, if it's just a regular track, even if it's grass, I'm just going to take it and just say, I want the acceleration, and I want all the other aspects out of it, even if the braking isn't as good. Because if it's wet grass, the 82 is not going to help you anyway. You're going to have a better time with this everywhere else. Then for the super hard pack tracks, the Blue Groove, the extreme rocks, like in Republic, Boulder Alley, Hare Scramble, that's got a lot of rocks. I'm going to go with something like an EN91. It's got a little bit shorter of a knob. It's gonna last me a long time, and it's not going to chunk up. I'll bring you closer to these tires, and then I want to say thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Like I said, I'll just bring you closer so you can take a look at them up close. Still dirty from the last time I rode, because I want to show you that I actually ride my stuff. This tire is straight from the last race, and this tire was straight from the last practice where I was doing some testing. So right here, race, right here, practice. I'm going to go with this MX14. Thank you guys for watching. Take a look at these tires. Thank you. All right, here are the tires again. MX14, AT82. Like I said, this tire has seen better days. It is on its last leg. I think I'll probably, if I figure out something with the moose, I just don't really want to destroy moose. Cut it up and stuff. If I figure something out with that, this tire will probably just be thrown off to the side when I get 91 in. MX14, tire of choice. Yeah, really like the tire. Yeah, is my favorite tire right now. I feel like Eli Tomac out there wanting to run it. Yeah, so here's it. Yeah, side by side. Both 18-inch tires. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys in the next one.